Okay, so a couple of days ago, I had a gig where I needed a classical guitar just for a couple of tunes. All my classical guitars are in Italy, because in 20 years in England, I've never actually been asked to play classical guitar, which is a strange thing. Maybe it's just my circle of gigs. So rather than buying a new one or having mine shipped from Italy, I decided to do something, to look into something that I thought actually you couldn't do, which is put classical guitar strings on an acoustic guitar. This is my Yamaha A3M, it's a spare one. I have another one, and I decided to try something, basically buy classical guitar strings that have a ball end at the bridge end of the string. And those that I bought, you can see the package is open here, are these nylon ball end guitar strings by Ernie Ball called Ernesto Palla. It sounds like, I don't know, some character from, Italian character from Family Guy or something like that, or some opera singer. But those are the strings that I used, and some good things and some bad things. I will obviously mention all different bits and bobs of what I liked about this and what I think doesn't really work, so to speak. So I had a mix setup, and I used, because I used a classical guitar, an acoustic guitar, and a jazz guitar. This was like a jazz gig that I played some Pat Metheny stuff, and so a mixed bag of things. So as a matter of fact, actually, if you can't figure out what the intro song was, write it in the comments, you get bonus points. It's a tune that I played at the gig. So what I liked about this is, first of all, you can turn an acoustic guitar into a classical guitar. Remember that the tension the strings have on the guitar, on the system, so to speak, is different. An acoustic guitar has, I understand, about 120 pounds of tension, which is quite a lot, where a classical guitar has about 50 pounds of tension. So you can put classical guitars on acoustic guitars because you will withstand the tension, where you cannot put acoustic strings, metal, acoustic strings on a classical guitar. You're not supposed to do that because it will rip the bridge up, so to speak. So don't do that. What I liked about it is the softer tension of the strings, and that comes at a price. Okay, so I'm going to put actually a picture of the setup. You cannot see the acoustic guitar, but it was a mixed setup where I used a DV Mark head and a Fishman acoustic amp. It was a small club, a small jazz club, so I didn't have anything in the PA. It was just purely what you see is what I used. I used a 335, and I used one of my presets for the Helix HX Stomp, where I had one of the guitars on the acoustic on one side, on the left side, and the electric on the right side. So you can get that preset if you need to. If you want to try and copy the preset, the setup, you can get that, and we'll post a link in the description as well, in a pinned comment as well. All right, because there is less tension, obviously the first thing you have to do is compensate by adjusting the truss rod. And another thing I would do, and I might actually redo it because I quite like the guitar like this, and at the moment I don't need a spare acoustic. So what I will do, I will reshape the nut, because what you will find is that the G, B, and E strings are a bit thicker than an acoustic set. So you will need to to widen the grooves, so to speak, the slots. Another thing you might notice is that the string on the tuning pole, the post, so to speak, is, the ratio changes. You'll have to turn it quite a bit more. And another thing is that if you have a cheap guitar, this actually is a good guitar. This is a Yamaha, again, as I said. And if you feel that the edges of the slots on tuning posts are too sharp, either you want to sand those or maybe protect the string with either some tape or something, maybe some heat shrink. That's a good idea, because I found that the classical guitar strings are not as hard as, especially the nylon ones, as the metal strings that come with acoustic guitars. So you might want to try and do that. So those are the things. So the things that I like the sound. I don't find it that much different from a classical, electroclassical guitar. And the one thing that I notice, and I don't know if it's because I've now reshaped the nut, the guitar, it is taking quite a while to get in tune. Like the tension tends to loosen up quite a bit very, very quickly. So you have to tune the guitar quite often. And I find that the tuning, so you can hear it up here, the octaves. Up here the guitar is fine. Octaves are not great. So I think if you want to keep it this way, you do need to set it up. And I don't know if it's because of where the strings touch up here, or maybe the guitar doesn't need a compensated B. I might need to do a bit more research on that. But I find that in this guitar, octaves are not great. I played a couple of tunes where, in a couple of tunes, there were a couple of sections where I was a bit higher, and I really had to adjust for that slightly. The tuning is not, crazy noticeable, but in a few positions and keys, I wouldn't record with it, so to speak. This is not a setup I would record with. I would want to have the guitar set up first. Maybe for live, where there's a bit more tolerance to that being slightly out of tune, you can live with it, so to speak. So this is my experience with putting classical guitar strings. Actually, one other thing I wanted you to notice, these classical guitar strings are black, which is, I don't know, I do like the look of them. I don't know if it comes up so clearly. They're not transparent like usual classical guitar strings. They are black. And as always, if you find any value in this, please share it, subscribe, like. These are all things that help the channel grow. And check out all my presets on my website, and all the stuff that I have for sale on my website if you want to support the channel. And yeah, that's it. Take care. Bye-bye.